Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly glad you're joining us today. Our goal for the next few minutes is actually really simple, but honestly, it can be totally life-changing for your language journey. We are going to figure out how to finally move past that horrible nervousness of speaking English with your friends. I mean, picture this, right? You study grammar rules every single day. You practice those vocabulary flashcards. You understand almost everything you read. But the second you sit down with a friend and it's time to actually, speak, what happens? Your mind just goes completely blank. You feel shy, you get nervous, and you just freeze up. If that sounds like you, trust me, you're absolutely not alone. It is literally one of the most frustrating moments in language learning. But hey, today we are going to fix it. Okay, so let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the confidence gap, then look at why we freeze up. After that, we've got 5 steps to speak naturally, some mistakes to avoid, and finally, how to start speaking today. Let's get going. So, starting off with section 1, the confidence gap. This is really about the distance between studying and actually speaking. You see, a ton of learners study English for months, maybe even years, but when they try to have just a simple casual chat, they suddenly feel totally lost. Now, what's really interesting here is how we completely dismantle this myth of perfect English. On one side, you have the grammar book reality. It's complex, it expects absolute perfection, and honestly, it is super intimidating. But then look at the friend reality. It's simple, it's casual, and yeah, it is completely mistake prone. We try so incredibly hard to sound like a textbook that we totally forget real life is messy. Real native speakers do not sound like grammar books all the time. They're relaxed, and guess what? They make mistakes too. All right, moving on to section 2, why we freeze up. Let's break down the actual mental hurdles of real conversations.
So, why exactly does our brain just hit the pause button? Well, a lot of the time it comes down to fear. We're terrified of making mistakes or, worrying our friends might laugh at our English. Then there's grammar perfectionism. Before you even open your mouth, you're running all these grammar rules in your head. And vocabulary? Imagine you just want to say something super basic, like, I watched a movie yesterday. But you completely freeze because you're frantically searching your brain for some advanced, complicated word just to sound smarter. Plus, you might be doing absolute mental gymnastics translating word by word from your native language, or making unfair comparisons with fluent speakers online. It is just an exhausting amount of pressure to put on yourself.
I want you to think about this quote. Real conversations happen quickly. Friends do not speak like grammar books all the time. Trying to be 100% perfect, it actually makes speaking so much harder, way slower, and honestly, far less natural. So, how do we break out of this trap? That brings us to section 3, 5 steps to speak naturally. This is going to be your action plan for real life fluency. We've got a super simple 5-step process that you can start using the literal minute this explainer is over. Start simple, ask questions, stick to daily topics, stop translating, and use friendly expressions. And honestly, the best part about this? It requires absolutely zero advanced vocabulary or perfect grammar. None. Okay, step 1, start simple. A lot of learners think they need these long, complicated sentences to sound smart. Not true at all. Simple English is powerful English. Look at these options. How was your day? Or are you free today? Even native speakers use these short, punchy sentences to kick off natural conversations. Just start with the English you already know. Step 2 is ask questions. Say your friend tells you they watched a movie. You can just reply with, "Oh, really? What movie was it?" Or "Did you enjoy it?" Asking questions is seriously like a magic trick for fluency. It keeps the conversation flowing naturally, it shows you're actually interested, and the absolute best part, it takes all the pressure right off of you to do all the talking. All right, step 3, daily topics. Listen, you do not need to discuss deep philosophy or complex economics with your friends. Look at these ideas: food, sports, studies, hobbies, movies, weekend plans. These are incredibly easy, low-stress subjects. By keeping things light and focused on daily life, you stay relaxed, and a relaxed speaker is definitely a confident speaker. Now, step 4 is absolutely crucial. Stop translating every single word. Let this really sink in. Communication is more important than perfection. Translating from your native language in your head before you speak, that is exactly what causes those awkward, stressful pauses. It literally makes the conversation stall out. If you forget a difficult word, please don't stop talking. Just use an easier word to explain your idea. Keep it moving. And rounding it out with step 5, friendly expressions. Take a look at these everyday reactions. No way! That's awesome! You're kidding. By dropping in these natural, everyday reactions, you instantly sound relaxed, friendly, and totally engaged in the chat. And you don't need to memorize any massive vocabulary list to do it. Okay, now that we have our action plan, let's switch gears to section 4, common mistakes to avoid. We definitely want to watch out for these pitfalls in friendly conversation. These common traps brilliantly illustrate what goes wrong even when we have the best intentions. The absolute biggest mistake? Staying silent out of fear. Remember, practice improves speaking. Silence does not. Then, oh man, there's the one-word answer. If a friend asks how your day was and you just say fine, you instantly kill the conversation right there. Try to add just a tiny bit more detail, like, fine, I just watched a movie. We also see learners forcing difficult vocabulary or getting stuck translating mentally. Avoid these traps, guys. Keep it simple and keep the conversation flowing. And that brings us to our final section, Start Speaking Today. This is all about building courage over perfection. We really need to rethink what it actually means to be fluent. Fluency is a skill that comes slowly through practice, patience, and real conversations. It's not about having perfect grammar on day one. Every single fluent speaker you compare yourself to, they started exactly where you are right now. They made mistakes. They felt shy. We have to completely decouple this idea of fluency from flawless English. Progress might feel a little slow at first, but every small conversation is training your brain. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one provocative question. Who will you talk to today? Seriously, don't wait for the quote-unquote perfect moment or for your grammar to be flawless. That day is never going to come. Challenge yourself right now. Find a friend and just try using 1 or 2 simple English sentences with them today. Start small, stay consistent, and always remember, communication is way more important than perfection. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Now get out there and start speaking.